Hi, everybody. My name's Michael Banks. I am an animation facilitator here at SAE. I have a Bachelor in Multimedia that I completed on the Gold Coast and Brisbane at Griffith University way back in 2007. Yeah. Um, Now, upon graduation, I managed to get a role as an intern, of all things, at Warner Brothers on the Gold Coast, and I worked at a company called Photon VFX, and we created a bunch of blockbuster shots and films like The Matrix, Superman Returns, and a 60-episode TV series called Animalia. Okay, so I have a lot of industry experience. I was lucky enough to see the process and the development of films and 3D animation from the ground up, working with teams there. Okay, so let's move on. So, what will you learn? Okay, so basically, there's many different disciplines that we'll be going through. Okay, throughout the process of this of the degree. Okay, animation degree. For example, consider yourself like a film director. All right, and a producer. So you're going through the whole rigmarole of, for example, starting out by creating a script, a story, and then we'll break that down into smaller components, the elements that go inside a scene, a set, okay, and set design, etc. You'll start modeling 3D characters, etc. Okay, and then light and render the scene. So everything will go into that little environment, like a stage, a studio. You'll light it, and then finally you'll animate the scene, and then you render it, and then we move into an area called post-production, where be using software such as After Effects and Nuke, where you can go through and actually start to add composite effects and the characters into the scene. More about that shortly. Okay, so let's talk about the course structure itself. So we have a diploma. Okay, we have an associate and a bachelor degree. Now, the stages and modules or classes that you do through the diploma and associate, they can all springboard you into the bachelor degree if you're interested. Be aware of that. Now, it's face-to-face and online courses. Okay, with the environment as it is, a lot of them are currently Zoom sessions, okay, which are great. It's a really great tool to use to be able to translate and be able to showcase the animation. So it works really well in this environment. All right. Now, we often do cross collaboration with games, audio, film, might reach out to film students, etc. And we may generate characters and environments for their games, for example, or if a game, or audio students may develop a backing track. Okay, so let's carry on. Now, I mentioned earlier that there are 3 stages. Okay, so the first stage is when you first join up, the first classes that you'll be going through. So for the first 3 trimesters, basically, you'll be having an introduction. We start you off slowly. Okay, we build you up. So you'll learn new tools such as Photoshop, etc. Okay, and gradually we'll increase it. So you'll be moving into Maya eventually, which is 3D industry standard 3D software application. Okay. Yeah, so each project keeps building upon itself. Okay, some of these projects are team-based and some are individual. Now, in stage 2, this is where you move into what are called like studios, where we create a real-world scenario of a studio, like a virtual studio, in which you often team up. More often than not, you'll be in a team of 4 or 5, 6 team members. One of you will be allocated as a team a leader. Others might be a director of animation, director of modeling, etc. So we recreate a real studio world environment. Okay. Yeah, and once again, you'll be working to a brief, 13 weeks, by the way, to complete this piece. Okay, normally it's approximately a 30 to 40-second animation. It might be a game animation, etc., which I'll show you shortly a couple of examples. Stage 3, this is where you really start putting it all together, for example, and you move into what's called major project, which carries on over 2 trimesters. Remember, 1 trimester is 13 weeks, 12 to 13 weeks, okay? And basically what you'll be doing over those 12 weeks in general is the project, you can decide what project you wish to create, Okay, you might even have other students pitching or presenting their projects, and you might join their team. Okay, once again, that's over 2 trimesters. Here's some of the software. We use Autodesk, Maya, Mudbox, etc. for 3D. We use Adobe products for 2D and texturing, Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe Premiere, and After Effects. We also use Nuke for comping as well, compositing. Unity, Unreal gaming engines. We're often exporting characters into Unity gaming engine. Okay, hardware. We've got a whole bunch of hardware available to students, including Wacom tablets, motion capture suits, virtual reality headsets, and 3D printers. Hey, why not? Print out that little character you just created. As I mentioned earlier, here's a couple of quick little snippets of videos. I'm going to run through these fairly quickly because we are limited for time. Okay, but this is a Studio 2 example. So students have gone through and spent a whole bunch of time, 13 weeks, generate the character, model them, texture them, light them, and of course animate, shrink the characters they've created, and then in compositing, add the effects, as seen here. Great, let's move on to this one too. I'll just play this one at the same time. Wow, look at that. Once again, those are Studio 2 students. This one. We'll watch this one too. Okay, so this was last trimester, a Studio 2 team, and they were a collaboration. Animation students, had 1 character each, and the same process they went through. Okay, so they had to introduce game characters. Okay, neat. So these are just a couple of quick examples. Okay. And they reached out to audio to generate the audio, the background audio for it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so student support. We have great support for students, both industry placement and contacts. We have a plethora of industry contacts, especially in the film industry, reaching out to games industry, etc. Okay, for example, Animal Logic, Fox Studios. There's a whole bunch of indie studios that we can reach out to too. Maybe you're not that interested in entertainment. Perhaps you're more interested in architectural design, real estate, etc. We can reach out to these sectors for you. Okay, help you get an internship. All right. Once again, I mentioned earlier, I started out as an intern at Warner Brothers, SAE. So yeah, and we also have that's the placement, industry contacts, and lastly, check out the alumni page because this is like past students, etc. So go to our SAE website and you'll find out a whole bunch more. Scrolling down through here, I can see some of the past students here. I know one of the SAE students I worked with closely at Warner Brothers, Billy Butler. He's at Frame Store in London. He worked on Avatar. He worked on Avengers, both Avengers 1 and 2. I really look forward to catching up with you all in class. Thanks for watching.